Greetings, dear CPRS professional. This is Mike Williams. I'm an educator for the past, nearly 40 years, both in corporate, in the private sector, in the non-commercial area as well. I have 4 speaker ideas that you could use for this year's CPRS in Long Beach, or in next year's or area-wide speaking engagements. If you could please forward this video to anybody that may be considered, or any other park and recreations in other states, associations, would like to consider having me speak on 4 or 5 different areas that I am a qualified expert in. One of the ideas that I have for a presentation, which I think will carry a great deal of engagement for the community at large as far as awareness and also engagement with your park facilities. All right, let me start off briefly, and I'm going to give you an excerpt of what the speaking might be. It won't be just like me talking to a camera, which is kind of more difficult, much more difficult to do than a group. I have well over 35 years of professional entertainer background, so I'm actually a little bit more friendly and engaging than what you see right now. So let me give you a little excerpt. How many of you guys out there have actually had a field trip when you were younger? Can you remember what happened in the? Can you remember what happened the day before in class or the day after? Well, that's because that's experiential. And learning and education in the future is all going to be about engagement. Now, research shows that when somebody teaches in a sports room or in a park and rec place to an audience, they remember 5 to 10% of whatever is being told to them. But if they do project-based learning, where they're working on something or being engaged, they retain 50%. If one learner teaches another learner what he's learning, then he retains 60% because he has to have a higher mastery. So with that in mind, think of it this way. Let's look at the parks and rec and the areas that we're around. And let's say, for instance, an adult is walking, has his young child with him and engaged. And he's going to go on a local hike through your park and rec area. And he says to his child, he says, "Sweetheart, how many different trees can you spot in our little hike?" And the parent gives a cell phone or a tablet to the child, and he just taps it every time he sees a new tree or whatever. And his other child next to him, who's a little older, gives him another thing. How many different species of trees and bushes do you see? And what animals rely upon that tree or that bush? Where do they grow nuts? And this little girl, she's so endeavored, she's actually taken pictures of the squirrels and the little animals running around the thing. At the end of the hike, you push the button, and it tells that the toddler picked up 15 of 17 different trees. And so he gets a little pat and a little reward from his father or mother. And the older child has been able to identify, in fact was so rigorous that she took pictures of the various different animals as she was making her hike. And her parent richly rewards her with blessings. I believe that's how our park facilities and recreational facilities can be used in an experiential education on a hike, or in the tide pools, or along any kind of aquifer or something of that nature that's a part of your public domain park and or space. Now, with Creative Maps, which is not a non-profit map, you can embed this into your website, into your e-newsletters with a shortened one or an embeddable code with an iframe, which we can show you if you like. Just email me at Mike@World Mentoring Academy. What I see this happening is the badge map. Just picture Google Maps, and the layer will be all of the after-school programs that are similar. For instance, anything that's arts and crafts would be in a layer. and it would be turned on by the person visiting it that's interested in arts and crafts, and it would show all the various different arts and craft after school or summer programs as a pin, and you click the pin, and then it would then show the hours. It's this Thursday. What age group? Is there any fees involved? Bring what materials to bring. What items are at this location? And it can be updated by Park and Rec through a form, a Google form, and these are all Google spreadsheets and Google Maps. It can be updated with a form by a staff member, or it can be updated by one of the persons in the community that maybe your Park and Rec didn't put into the map. And this way you can engage your audience. In this information we'll also put your Twitter for this particular space, maybe your hash mark for that particular class, so people can follow in conversation with Twitter or Instagram, as well as your YouTube channel of any footage that you might have, your Facebook page for that page, or any of the posts that you have related to that particular class or event. That's one way that creative maps can be used. Another way in the near future, what we will be doing is we will be putting an option where in the community, if a child does an activity, they get a special badge, like a painting badge. And then every time they paint at a various different outlet in the community, whether it be public, private, or whatever, they get an additional credit on that badge, and it increases in its badge thing. That is for the future. Again, this is a non-profit, because I heard this rumor. No matter how much money you make, you can't take it with you, because that's not my motivation. I am the developer of Creative Spaces. And if you have an opportunity to follow this link in the line here, you'll get a basically kind of a bird's eye of some of the Google spreadsheets that we're working on. That's one of the presentations that I would like to give at CPRS, either this year, to fill in for somebody else who had to cancel, or you have a spare room. And I'm quite willing to promote it so you can see my social marketing skills without even advertising to it. So if this kind of excites you as park outreach and marketing and engagement in your park and facilities to really basically justify the fact that government money is being well spent in your community, then please consider this for a track or an educational seminar. The next one is another suggestion for a speaker's thing. I have literally almost 40 years of training staff members. And in fact, the learning management system which I use is being used by Starbucks, by major governments and universities, and even educational facilities. It's a non-commercial, basically open type of a system. And what I have done is you can use it for staff and employee and training. Now, what kind of training would it be? Well, we have a complete horticulture department, which has material from universities as well as the United States Department of Agriculture and their extension programs when it comes to horticulture and animal care. Now, we have several university courses, especially geared for California's gardens and horticulture from Cal State Dominguez Hills. Textbooks, lessons, discussions, and forums, and things of that nature, which could be helpful for any of your staff that works with any of the grounds, faunage and trees and things of that nature. Also can be used by your other staff to earn college credit. I will also, in this particular presentation, describe all the educational possibilities for young people, high school, and staffers going to community college, as well as adult learners. In the staff training, which would be a session, I would go over, there are a couple of options for the people that run the park departments and do the training for their staff. One option at World Mentoring Academy, which I'm the curator of and developer of, you can get privileges to be a teacher, so that you can put in special park training for your staff, and that training will be then shared with all the other parks in California, including the rest of the world, as part of an open movement for education and training staff through a MOOC. Now, MOOCs are very helpful when you use them, when students use them with their cell phone and tablets, and now they can be at your facilities and accessing information that they may have forgotten during one of your workshops in your parks. As well as several of these courses will align themselves with credit by examination. What is credit by examination? Well, it's the College Board's AP and CLEP exams, the federal government's DSSTs, and all the others. We literally have well over 180. In fact, a couple of years ago, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation reached out to us to underwrite accreditation for future students so that we can drive down the cost of student debt at regular universities. So World Mentoring Academy would like to offer the educators of the various different parks to develop curriculum around life savings and CPR and all the other types of things that might be helpful for their staff and the staffs of other park and recs around the world, and including adults as well that can learn to do CPR training themselves or things of that nature. Regarding the third talk, would be more like an educational enhancement for your community. And what does that look like? Basically, what it looks like is this. That would be special training that may not be provided for free in your community to get your high school diploma, or to be able to get any kind of English as a second language, get English as a second language people to learn languages. We also enable through NYU, New York University, through their SCPS program, a language credit, university credit in 50 languages. Now, NYU will allow the Park and Rec to proctor exams so that people in their community can earn college credit in any of 50 languages if they speak 3rd and 4th grade level and write. And they can earn, in a 2-hour test, earn 12 units. In a 3-hour test, they can earn 16 units that they can then use in the university. These units are good for approximately 5 years. So you want to basically give these tests for anybody that's interested in getting some electives or some core classes if they're getting a bachelor's in foreign languages. Also, the CLEPs, which you can also do tests, prepare people for, are in Spanish, German, and French, and those are 12 units, and I believe there's like $80 to the participants from the College Board. Also, we have math SAT prep exams through World Mentoring Academy, which are live through our website, completely free. And what you can do is you can basically help and mentor as they watch the footage and answer any additional questions in one of your rooms that you might open every, like every Wednesday night at your computer bank area. The last suggestion is for sports and athletic training. Now, concussions is really a big topic right now. We have concussion training facilities, lectures, and things of that nature to help your staff and anybody running sports, as well as a wide range of lessons for warming up for soccer and all the other types of things, and then also additional stuff from the PET and a couple of other rules and regs for throwing. Well, anyway, in continuation of the sports training and the medical support in World Mentoring Academy, you're basically a qualified staff member can petition World Mentoring Academy, and we will give you the opportunity to add additional content, corrected content, add quizzes for your staff, and anything else that might be helpful for your city and Park and Rec and any of the other associations to do a better job at what they do. In regarding sports, the other than just the concussion training that has been given from the sports professionals, as well as an ongoing research that's been doing in and around concussions, because that's a topical concern in many athletic and sporting, organizations, including for the youth. Also, in addition to our that particular support, we also have various different presentations regarding skin ailments such as SARS and a variety of other types of transmittable diseases like ringworm and things of that nature. Photographs of what that looks like, the various different procedures that you might want to consider for medical suggested treatment, things of that nature, quarantine and things of that, as well as any of your aquaponics type of activities, any of your pool activities and preventions and things of that nature. As I mentioned, CPR, as well as lifeguard training, and also your customer training as well. Again, please consider this as a sports and athletic activities session, and any other ideas that you might have, I'm quite willing to develop a presentation for that. Thank you very much.